Hey, you guys. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good afternoon. Good evening. Wherever y'all may be today, we're going to talk about PPP loans. Ooh wee. Ooh wee. It's getting bad out there, y'all. It's getting bad out there. Oh my gosh. Y'all, I these PPP loans are just unbelievably to me, they've always just felt like a trap, a straight up trap. Um, these people, like, when I tell y'all, people were getting these PPP loans like with absolute ease. It was like the most easiest thing to do because all you had to do was provide like some documents, hell, and they'll create those, you know. And man, people are getting caught the fuck up. It wasn't too long ago. I remember this. Hey, Dolly. Hey, Gloria. Hey, Shannon. We are back, y'all, for another. We're gonna talk about these PPP loans. Now I'm pretty sure that many of my haters have probably tried to type my name um in the little system that they have or whatever to see if I had a PPP loan, and I can declare I never got a PPP loan ever. Like, that's just, you know. But I'm going to be honest with you guys. I remember a year and a half ago, whenever like the PPP loans came out, man, there were so many people online talking about how easy it was to get those PPP loans. People preferring people's prison. Oh, people, man, y'all. I remember when people were getting these loans. I heard a couple of YouTubers talking about how if you had a YouTube channel, you could legit get a PPP loan. And they started at like $10,000 or something like that. I think that it depended on the number of employees or something, right? I don't know the intimate details of how like those PPP loans work because I never needed one, so I never applied for one. But there's a lot of people getting caught up big time. So what do you do? I'm kind of one of those people. I try to like be optimistic. So what would you do? Let's say that right now you're sitting at home and you're watching this video, or you hear this, or you're watching all the other videos where people are scared to death and they're hitting the live button and they're like, "Oh my god, I committed fraud by getting a PPP loan in my name. What do I do?" You may be sitting there right now knowing that you got a PPP loan and that there's definitely going to be some questions that are going to come up. And at any time, the federales could come and kick your door in because they are kicking people's doors in on these PPP loans. So, what do you do? Um, for starters, you probably want to look into a criminal defense attorney. I'm gonna throw a link in the chat for y'all because I know, I know some of y'all. Even some of y'all that I went to school with, some of y'all are friends with me on Facebook. And y'all know I don't even fuck around on Facebook like that. I only have a Facebook account just to manage my Facebook page. Or I got a couple of pages actually. But I am not an active Facebook user. I think I abandoned Facebook in that type of way well over 5, 6, 7 years ago. I proudly say I don't have a personal Facebook, honestly. Um, It's just, yeah. But I know some of y'all who I may be connected with are sitting there listening right now, knowing good and damn well that y'all went and got them PPP loans. And somebody told you, hey, I can get you 10,000, I can get you 20,000. You just got to cut me in like 3 or 5. I can get you $100,000. I can get you $50,000. I dropped a link in the chat. Y'all might want to check that out if you are one of those people that are sitting back listening, knowing that you got a PPP loan and you shouldn't have got one. The 3 most common defenses in a PPP fraud case is going to be: 1, lack of intent. If you had a lack of intent, if the PPP loan was gotten for a legitimate purpose, and identity. Listen to me, y'all. I'm throwing out some gems today. Lack of intent, legitimate purpose, identity. 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 If your defense is a lack of intent, then you have to show that you did not knowingly or intentionally misrepresent the facts. Instead, you were just wrong about what you reported for whatever reason. Okay. That's a lack of intent. Legitimate purpose. You're going to have to be able to prove the government has mistaken, that you have a legit PPP loan and it's for legitimate purpose. Or 3, got to be able to prove that you were not the one who submitted the loan application in your name. Somebody did it. Somebody did it in your name. And here's the thing that's going to be really interesting. How long has that PPP loan database been available for search, for lookup? A while, right? So if your name's out there and you're attached somehow to this, to having a PPP loan, but you have not yet reached out to the federal government to inquire on why in the fuck your name is sitting on somebody's PPP loan. Like, if you don't do the normal things that people do when their identity has been stolen and people have gotten, loans and other things in their name, it's going to look suspicious. Because obviously, if your identity was compromised in some kind of way, there's probably going to be other things going on in your life that that may be affected by identity theft, which is something that happens every day. But those are your 3 outs, y'all. It's a white collar crime, and it gets very, very sticky, icky. And these are felony charges. We're talking about federal charges. We're talking wire fraud, bank fraud, identity theft, mail fraud, making false statements, and the penalties are quite severe. And I think the one thing that always scares people when they hear federal, is they think it's day for day. You don't get no good time. There is no good time off for good behavior. It's day for day in that bitch. It's day for day. Yeah, that is exactly why I'm talking about it, Shannon. It is so funny you mentioned that. I seen that lady's video. Yes, I came across it too. I know this is gonna sound horrible of me, but I get a little bit of a chuckle sometimes when I go through and I here. Let me just show you. Let me show y'all something. Look, if you do a search for just PPP in YouTube, look at what comes up. These are cached searches that other people have done that are related to PPP, and also too, you will see your search predictions as well in there. But this particular browser is clean. So there's no search history in there in regards to PPP for me as far as what I've watched. So I could show y'all this. So if you just type PPP in the YouTube search or even in a Google search, you get a little bit of a predictor or an idea of what people are searching for. And it gives you a really good idea on kind of like what's going on, what's going on. And I do from time to time come and look at these, some of these videos, because I mean, some of these people literally are going live with the feds going through their shit right in front of them. They just kicked the door in and they're like, hey, I need help. I don't know what to do. I got their PPP loan and now I'm just ready to lay it all out on the table because I've spent the 10,000, I spent the 20,000. It went fast, and now the feds are here. They done kicked my motherfucking door down. What do I do? Well, you don't go live, okay? Do not go live. Do not share any information or or anything that you did regarding anything. You got to maintain that, because you're going to want to tell your attorney that, because that's what you're going to have to end up getting is an attorney, white collar crime attorney. Start with the link I put in the chat. Remember, federal is whole United States wide, so it's not one of them situations where you may have to like get an attorney that is in your state or has to be able to practice, because it's not a state charge, right? But you're going to have to contact a federal criminal lawyer, and you're going to want to have all your documentation, including your loan application for the PPP loan, the PPP forgiveness application, and any business expense documentation, your employee documentation, names and contact information for employees, and a detailed accounting of how the PPP money was spent. All of this is evidence which can be used to both evaluate and defend your case and to prosecute you as well. So keep in mind, when you guys get scared to death and you hit that live button and you get to telling on yourself that you just want a little help from somebody to help you and tell you what to do next, don't do that. Don't do it, because the feds are going to see those videos too. How much time is one facing if they are convicted? Decades, man. Decades. Hmm. Have you gotten the letter yet? It might be a really good idea to retain a federal criminal attorney the moment that you realize something about your PPP loan ain't right. Or if you know that you went and got one when you shouldn't have got one, you probably need to retain a federal criminal attorney. Get out in front of it. My understanding is the SBA is auditing all PPP loans. My understanding also, and I knew about the fact that the government, and this is something that lady Patrice said in her video. She was talking about how the governments are now talking to each other, and that is true. Up until a couple of years ago, it's kind of sad to say this, but up until Jared Kushner got in office with Donald Trump, the governments had their own IT systems, their own system, their own, every like different, how should I say it, different like departments. So like the FDIC, they have a completely different network, mail server, file servers, all that type of stuff than what the IRS does. The IRS has a whole different set of, servers and a network that is completely different from the one that Congress is on, completely different from the one the White House is on, completely different than all other like government branches. I'm telling you what I know. And in the last couple of years, and we can actually blame Jared Kushner for this, and it could be seen as a good thing or a bad thing. I kind of see it as could be a bad thing, but was way overdue. Is the fact that these government agencies, they had their own networks, they had no ability to reach out and tap the IRS's network and see, okay, somebody submitted a request to the SBA for a loan, but did they really make whatever, in the last few tax years or whatever? They didn't have the ability to tap into that information before. They do now, because now these networks have started to open up and now they're talking to each other. They're sharing data amongst each other. It's the wonderful, wonderful way of how technology is used to further whatever. So they're using new software, new hardware, things like that in their effort to have communication between all these different branches of government and various different departments in government. They're implementing new software as we speak in order to tap in and get that information. It's kind of scary because now you can't really run. Like some people, they may, like that lady Patrice was saying, they may be on some sort of government assistance, Section 8. Are they getting an SSI check for disability? There was a time when people could have got an SSI disability check and also could have applied for a loan through the SBA also. And the two wouldn't have known about each other. But now that they're implementing new hardware, new software, those sorts of things, they're talking to each other now. My understanding, you guys, is every single PPP loan is going to be audited at the end of the day. There's just too much fraud. It was too easy to get these PPP loans. It was way too easy. And man, I remember, because man, how we be watching stuff that's trending. And there was at one point like groups of people advertising, like on the gram and on Facebook and on Twitter, saying, "Hey, we could get you $20,000. Hey, we could get you 50,000 in a PPP loan. Just hit us up on this, email us over here, or whatever the case may be." And what they do is they give you all the paperwork you need. They submit all the applications, all that shit. Basically, take all the work off your hands. Just you got to be willing to sacrifice yourself, right? You want that 20,000. When you get that 20,000, I'm gonna need you to break me off 5 of it. You keep that 15. But yeah, although you are taking the biggest cut, you are also sacrificing yourself. I'm going to be able to walk away scot free with $5,000. But you're the one that put your name on it. So yeah, I kind of wanted to be I didn't want to do a kind of video where like I'm coming out like exposing people who have PPP loans that, may not. Who am I to say whose PPP loan is valid and whose PPP loan ain't? I don't know their personal business. I don't know what these people got going on in their personal lives, what businesses they got going on. That is not my place. But what I can do is I can kind of twist it to be a little bit more positive, and just come out and say, hey, if you did get one, this is what you're going to want to do. Because I know some of y'all are my friends. Some of y'all are my fucking friends, man. And I don't want to see y'all go to prison, man. And I'm talking about the people I personally know. Unlike others, unlike some out here on the internet, I don't need to come up here and declare and promise people on YouTube that I don't know that I got friends in real life. You know what I'm saying? God, who does that? Who comes up here and make video after video declare I got friends in real life? What the fuck you telling us for? I don't think I've ever had to like prove that to anybody. But like there's a couple of people in mind. Of course, I would absolutely never verbalize that shit. But there's like 4 of y'all that I know that y'all went out and got these damn loans, man. And I don't want to see y'all go to jail, man. I really don't. I don't want to see y'all go to jail. So, yeah, you might end up paying out more in the long run at the end of the day. That's kind of how it goes, right? It's kind of how it goes. So yeah, my understanding is they're auditing every single PPP loan that was given. They're going to go back and audit every single one. And if you don't believe me, just peep game. How long did it take for y'all to get your stimulus payments this last time around? The IRS got all of those payments out in 3 days. Millions of payments out in 3 business days. If that tells you anything about the capabilities that these government agencies have from a computer and network perspective, it's no big deal to audit an SB, a PPP loan. It's very simple. They're in the information's already in their system, right? They're kind of like having to go back after the fact because they had to get that money out. They had to get that money out quick, quick, quick in a hurry. So basically, this is one of those situations where they gave out the money before they could really verify or validate that your loan application was correct or valid or even legitimate. So yeah, this is going to be an after the fact motherfucking sting. None of that money was ever going to be free, guys. And at the end of the day, if you got 10,000, if you got 20,000, if you got 50, whatever you got, you may be paying out more in the long run to get yourself out of this trouble. And some of y'all got kids, man. Some of y'all got kids. And I just y'all, $10,000, $20,000 is not that much money at the end of the day. It's not enough money for you to sacrifice yourself to a prison term in jail. Y'all know what I'm saying? I mean, I know that to some people, they're like, damn, I've never seen $10,000 in my life. $10,000, it could do a lot. It could, you know what I could do with $10,000? Believe me, I know what you could do with 10,000. But there's never an amount of money ever that will be enough for me to sacrifice myself to go to prison. Ever. Man, it's like some of those people, when I was growing up and coming up, people used to hit me because I had kids, and let me claim your kids. Let me cover your let me claim your kids on my taxes. I'm like, what the fuck am I going to let you claim my kids for? Well, you can't get any more EIC money after 2 children. No, you can't, but you damn sure get that child tax credit. You get a credit of some type. You may not get EIC, but I'm going to get a child tax credit for all 3 of my kids that I need. You see, when it gets to the point where you're not getting EIC anymore, you're making too much money for that. And then you get up into like a different tax bracket and shit like that, man, you're looking for ways to lower your tax bill. That's the type of situation that a lot of like career people are in, or if you're married and y'all, making like $50,000 a piece, y'all bringing home 100,000 or whatever as a married couple a year. You guys are in a whole different bracket at that point, and you're looking for ways to lower your tax bill. And it would be crazy of me to let somebody else carry my children when I would carry my children. I took care of them the whole year, didn't I? I need to lower my tax bill as far as what the IRS is gonna say I need to pay them. Y'all. So check this out. Check this out. We're just gonna watch a couple of these videos. They're unbelievable. Like these people, come on, and they're like, and one thing I'm looking at some of these bloggers. Some of these bloggers were out here getting these PPP loans, talking about their YouTube channels were businesses and shit. Bitch. The real question is, do you have an LLC? That is your real business at the end of the day. But yeah, man, some people were really, really, I kid you not, literally using their YouTube channels as their business. But if it's not tied to an LLC, I guess you could do like independent contracting or whatever. But man, you're going to have to really prove that. Like, you can't just have a YouTube channel and think you can get money like it's a business like that, especially if, you don't, there's no one working for you. You don't have any employees, right? So that's where, I've been seeing like these videos of some of these video bloggers. They've been getting caught up in this whole PPP loan bullshit. Hold on, y'all. Let me fix this here. Fix this. It's crazy. Hold on. Let me lower this. Zoom. Oh, let me put this back down on 100%. There we go. That's better. So there's this guy. I seen that reaction channel, and he has like these compilations, right? Let's go check these out. I'll drop a link to his channel. His or her channel. It could be a her. We don't know because they always wear that mask on their faces. But y'all, shout out to Fox News. That's my local news, y'all. Steve Eager, Heather Hayes. Y'all, it's just I get a little bit of a chuckle.
Millions of dollars in COVID stimulus money meant to help struggling businesses. Hello, everybody. I'm Heather Hayes.
And I'm Steve Eager. It's 9 o'clock. The U.S. Attorney for the Northern District of Texas says Dinesh Saw, here in a 2020 mugshot for an unrelated charge, confessed to submitting 15 fraudulent.
Come on, Dinesh.
15 fraudulent loans. Y'all, boy, Dinesh, I heard somebody had submitted 200 fraudulent PPP loans tied to the same bank account. See, that's the things they're looking at. You have to understand how these algorithms work with these networks and these computers. You got Power BI, you got all these new implementations, all these new, software as a solution services. These SaaSes, we call it SaaS, SaaS. You got these software solutions, right? And what's happening is they're taking like little things like, okay, what bank account did we send that money to? How many PPP loans applied? How many loan applications do we have tied to that same bank account? Boom, spit the report out for me. It'll take about 30 seconds. That's what they're doing. They're taking every single loan. They're taking all the properties. And I say this, that the attributes or the properties, basically what you filled out, each field, your last name, first name, bank account number, this, that, birth date, social, EIN, all that shit. It's a whole different property, a different field, a different attribute, a different value. Those values are being pushed up into a database, and they are comparing these to every single loan that was submitted. And they're finding hundreds of them being submitted for, money to come into the same bank account. These people have the same address. They're even tying people's addresses. There's some people that submitted PPP loans, under the same address, and there's like 50 different applications under the same address, the same LLC, like all those sorts of things. They're all being tied back using software as a solution services that take seconds to generate these reports. It literally takes them seconds to get this information. And then it goes and it sits on somebody's desk or sits in somebody's email. And as the detectives slowly and the investigators slowly work their way through these reports, and they start making calls, they start reaching out to police agencies, then they start planning whose door they're going to kick in and shut. 15 loans.
Other real estate and several luxury cars.
24 million.
David Santendri is at the
They're
federal
buying
courthouse in
property,
downtown
y'all,
Dallas
with these
more
loans
on
and
this
shit.
fraud
You're not supposed to do
investigation.
that. You're not supposed to buy
Yes, Steve and Heather, the
property and
SBA put up
furniture and
hundreds
cars,
of billions of dollars in forgivable
jewelry,
loans during the early stages of the
perfume.
pandemic in an effort to help small businesses pay their employees. Well, one local man admitted that he used that money, fraudulently obtained it to pay for homes and fancy cars.
That's it, Dolly.
Fox 4
It's so easy. It's so easy.
But no one answered at the address a federal criminal complaint says Dinesh Saw lived. The 55-year-old is shown here in a 2020 Dallas County mugshot related to assault charges. But we wanted to speak with someone related to him about a $24 million COVID-19 fraud scheme he pleaded guilty to, the U.S. Attorney's Office announced Wednesday. Federal investigators previously raided his
these
Capel
people are
home.
getting time.
And as I pulled into my driveway, I saw a lady.
We got Karen over here, just over here telling.
And people warned y'all, man. If this wasn't something that people had so much fair warning to, it's like, man, y'all had so much fair warning not to do this shit. Like, unbelievable, man. Unbelievable. I honestly cannot wait for like 5 years down the line to like look at the top 10 PPP fraud cases. Just to get an idea of what kind of fraud we're talking about here. Some of these people, I mean, these guys got greedy. We're talking this 15 loans. Are you serious? 15? One of the things that is crazy to me is the fact that they were able to even get that type of shit through in the first place. And see, that's what the government people are also thinking. They're thinking to themselves, we need a system, we need a method or a way that should have stopped this from happening in the first place. And that's exactly why they're implementing new software as a solution services that can absolutely do that job for them in just a few seconds. Comparing those different attributes and those different values that were filled in and comparing them to different markers in their database. Oh, yeah, we got that bank account number already. Oh, wait, over 200 loans were requested with that same bank account number. Oh, yeah, we have 50 loans under that same address. Oh, yeah, we got 5 loans under that same name.
Saw submitted 15 fraudulent applications filed under names of various businesses he owns or controlled to 8 different lenders seeking more than 24.
Know something? There is something to be said about people that have been around money or know money. You know what I'm saying? Or they may be wealthy. There's a whole bunch of millionaires in the world. I ain't one of them. I wish. But there is something to be said, about like, I understand that some people, it's really hard out here. And to them, $10,000 is a windfall. But I promise you it's not. I've paid for things that were $10,000 in one swipe. And damn, hated doing it. But at the end of the day, that $10,000 is not going to be worth you going to jail and being away from your family and your children and your spouses and shit. It's just not worth it, y'all.
$4 million in PPP loans. He claimed he had numerous employees and thousands of dollars in payroll expenses when, in fact, the criminal complaint says he didn't. Still, investigators say initially he got away with $17 million and purchased homes and luxury cars.
A Bentley, a Jaguar.
Well, first, it's upsetting, right? Because we have so many clients who weren't able to get enough money or missed out on the first round of money and got delayed because individuals like this were taking money they're not entitled to.
Attorney Mishki Deb, formerly of the SBA, says the Inspector General's office is dedicating a team to solely investigate PPP fraud.
It tells you that there's a lot of fraud. Unfortunately, people saw the opportunity and they seized it.
We all seen the opportunity.
Is there too much of this going on where you don't think investigators can actually keep up with how much fraud there is?
Good question. I think there is enough of it going on that it's going to take them a while to get through all of the fraud. I mean, there's just that much.
Well, the Inspector General's office helped nab Sa. Court documents say he admitted to sending millions of dollars in PPP in international money transfers.
It's like they did get hypnotized by the possibility of getting money. You guys, this is crazy. I can't tell you how fucked up this is, man.
That's probably like the only thing.
I really can't even begin to explain how stupid this is.
Records list Sa as the owner.
Unbelievable.
You never know what else is
So
gonna
what
go
they were
on.
doing is they were turning around and trying to put that money into some properties, and the thing about it is, that's a great way to do it. But did you buy that property in your name or what? Because I guarantee you every piece of property that he bought is going to be taken from him. It's going to be seized from him. It's going to become the property of the federal government.
You know, it could be happening anywhere in
It's
any neighborhood.
unbelievable.
Sa is still in custody.
And do any of y'all sort of like look at this thinking to yourself like, damn, I work every day. I work hard to get my money every single day, you know, to get that check or to go to work or whatever duties that you have to do in your day-to-day life. And these people are literally with the swipe of a fucking pen or the 5-second entry on a keyboard in 5 minutes, they done submitted a whole fucking application and they're walking around with 1 million, 5 million, $20 million. The government just say, here you go. All because the government couldn't even like have any system in place to even try to prevent any of this. I mean, it just was never, to me, it was never like, they shouldn't have did it that way. You know, give the money out first, ask questions later. It's crazy.
Government out of more than $5 million in COVID relief money. According to court records, the couple spent some of that money gambling at casinos, purchasing designer handbags, and they paid off their 27.
Unbelievable, man. And you know, it's like, okay, so you think, okay, fuck the system. Fuck the system. Fuck the government. I'm going to fuck them out of everything I can get, right? Of course, many of us would love to do that. But look what these people do with the money when they get it. I love the timestamps here at 2:43, at 2:58, at 6:32. It's so shameful how you all got these big lump sums and y'all didn't even do good by the money. You didn't even do right by the money. And that's why y'all are still broke now. That's why y'all are right back broke today. Sometimes I think if you just stop centering on money all the time and stop like always trying to focus on it, and just kind of like just do your thing and go with the flow. I just try not to have any worries about stuff like that. Even if I have $5 in my account, I'm not gonna die. I'm gonna be okay. I woke up today, and that in itself is a blessing. Fuck all this extra scamming shit to try to like come up, and then when you come up, look what y'all do with it. Oh, well, let's go to Vegas. Let's go throw half of it away into the fucking casino. Although you could go literally buy a house, put it in your mama's name or something, and be okay for the rest of your life and have a roof over your head for the rest of your life. Do you realize that you could take $10,000? You could take $10,000 and go buy a fucking house in some cities in Texas, in some small towns. It may not be the best house, but we're talking about a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house. There's some towns. I'm from one. If I really, really wanted to, I could go home. If I wanted to put $20,000 on a house, I could get a brick house in the town I grew up in, over on the white side of town. Literally, legit. 25K. I got me a 3-bedroom, 2-bath brick slab. I'm good for the rest of my life. Why didn't y'all do some good with some of this money? Like, how did y'all get $25 million and then you went through like 10,000, 20,000 of it away in a fucking casino slot machine? Unbelievable, y'all. Unbelievable, man. It's just so disgusting.
Man, how dumb can you be, man?
Businesses' COVID relief funds can be a lifeline, but feds say the businesses under 44-year-old Julio Lugo and 37-year-old Rosenide Vinnett not only weren't struggling, but weren't even real. Attorney Anthony Rickman, who isn't associated with the case, says the real victim is the taxpayer.
Businesses are failing. Businesses are struggling. This money was set aside for legitimate businesses. These two defendants, through their conspiracy and through their fraud, submitted multiple applications for businesses that didn't exist.
According to court records, beginning in March of 2020, the couple used their home IP address to submit at least 70 false and fraudulent loan
I hope y'all
applications.
peeped game on that. See, I wasn't even going to say nothing about that. I wasn't even gonna mention that. It's like there be some things that I just, I just don't say. But did y'all just hear that sentence? Because if you didn't, you missed something huge. Here, I'll play it again. I'll play it again for you there. Or here, just read it. What's it say? Lugo and Vinet used their home IP address to submit at least 70 false and fraudulent loan applications seeking funds from the PPP loan. So if somebody put in a loan application for a PPP loan from a specific computer at a certain location, or let's say that we've got a group of scammers or whatever who are submitting all these loans and these PPP loan applications, y'all look at the sentence. The government is telling you they've got the IP address of every machine that submitted an SBA PPP loan application. And they're actually comparing the IP addresses that were used when these loan applications were submitted. And they are running that up against the various loan applications. And they're going to know how many of those loan applications came through on whatever IP address. That's going to also help lead them to these bigger groups that are involved in this fraud. And from a computer perspective, from a network perspective, it's kind of scary, right? There ain't no kind of to it. It is scary. This is exactly why I hope you guys. Okay. Y'all want an answer on how you would get around that? If you ever want to submit one in the future, I could tell you, but I'm not. I'm not even going to release that type of information on the world. I'm not even going to release that type of information to the world. I'm not going to give anybody no, that's okay. But yeah, peep game. It ain't even just about your street address. The government, I told y'all about 3 or 4 years ago, they started putting in these new SaaS solutions. And obviously, they are comparing the IP addresses for every SBA loan that was submitted. They can tell. It's I told you guys, these are just really simple attributes, really simple values, really simple fields. They're just scraping this stuff off, digitally. They're just scraping it off, these applications. And of course, any network, I mean, if you have the right network software, absolutely, you're going to want to know what IP address these applications are coming in from. It's a good way to catch fraudsters. So I hope y'all seen that sentence. That's pretty important. And that's another reason why I want to be really clear. You guys are not going to get away with this shit. Can you get around something like that? Yeah, you can. But I'm not going to tell y'all how to do it.
IP address to submit at least 70 false and fraudulent loan applications seeking funds from the Paycheck Protection Program.
Just wow.
Come on, baby. You gotta be smarter than that. So you just gonna sit at home
on the same
your
computer,
one laptop, desktop computer, whatever, and fill out multiple applications with the same IP address? Man, you deserve what you get. You gonna use
$6 million in loan money.
Not only did they just profit from it, but the way and manner in which they did was brazen, was bold.
Some of the most damning evidence includes these video stills taken from a video Lugo uploaded to Facebook. In it, Lugo and Vinet can be seen in a hotel room littered with $100 bills, several items from Louis Vuitton, and a $5,000 watch. In addition to the video, the couple is accused of spending $47,000 to pay off.
I ain't no accountant, and I ain't, by any means, but I know computers and I know networks. And I also know some of these SaaS solutions intimately. And, Dolly, they can say whatever they want because I know how scary it's kind of scary to me what some of these software solutions have the capability to do because I am one of those people that I do like privacy. I feel like I don't like government intrusion into my life. I'm kind of like that in a way. There's no inner way to it. I am like that. But me personally, I wouldn't have sat on it. Isn't even about the same computer. It's the fact they're on the same network and their IP address is only going to get, um, reassigned out maybe every 7 or 8 days using the DHCP protocol. And in some cases, some people will get the same IP address reissued to them when a request is made to the DHCP server. So the thing about it is, although our IP addresses change because of DHCP, we typically will retain the same one for a couple of days. So these people sat on these computers, on these networks, thought they were safe. They didn't think that the government had the capability to look at the actual IP addresses that were submitting these loan applications. And they're basically telling us that they did. They captured all that information. So, yeah.
A 2017 BMW 7 Series sedan, spending $49,000 at casinos.
Look at that
and
shit.
Another $13,000 spent at
$50,000 at a casino. $49K. So you mean to tell me that you went at what? $13,000 at a weight loss center? Baby, y'all, they spend more money at the casino than they did for anything else. I don't see no house there. I've always said the first thing I would ever do if I won the lotto is I would make sure that I have a house that's fully paid off. And I'd even put money in an account, in an escrow account, to pay the taxes on the property over the next like 5 to 10 years. I don't want to have to ever worry. I don't understand what some people are thinking. I mean, I would love for someone to give me $50,000. Do you know what I could do with $50,000? Of course, y'all know what I could do with $50,000. I could buy 25 acres with that. Unbelievable. I could buy 20, acres.
Let's look at
build me a little barn dominium or a tiny home or something.
BMW. Okay, I think they said they paid it off. That's cool. Pay your stuff off, man. But the 49 at the casino,
that's 13. Unbelievable. They spend more money at the
$24 million.
Than anywhere else.
Josh Bellamy of St. Petersburg has now been charged with wire and bank fraud, in addition to conspiracy to commit wire and bank fraud.
Piece, right?
Investigators say he conspired with others to obtain millions of dollars in fraudulent PPP loans. Bellamy allegedly got more than $1 million for his own company, Drip Entertainment. They say he then bought $104,000 worth of luxury goods from designers like Dior and Gucci. They also allege he spent more than $62,000 of the loan at the Seminole Hard Rock Casino here in Broward. He's accused of trying to get PPP loans for family members and associates.
Wow.
In addition to Bellamy, 10 others were charged in the investigation, and of them, 8 are from South Florida. So far, no word from the Jets.
Eric, yeah, LaDonna Wiggins, we have yet to hear from her. This business here behind me off Pierce and Baldwin is apparently that of hers. They have since turned off the lights when they saw our cameras. But we're also waiting to hear from her lawyer who's in New York. Still nothing from either of them. Again, what those court documents allege are pretty jaw-dropping.
Hi, looking for LaDonna Wiggins. My name's Myra with ABC 13.
Wow.
Tuesday afternoon, we went to a home in Cyprus that court documents state 37-year-old LaDonna Wiggins purchased using money she received from the CARES Act.
Hey, look at those
Wiggins
loans.
received about $3.7 million after submitting 2 PPP loan applications for businesses known as
$63,000 at Chanel
LLC and Pink Lady Line. The documents state she used the funds to make lavish personal purchases, this home allegedly being one of them. Hi, looking for LaDonna Wiggins? She's not here. She's not here. When someone finally came to the door, I asked this woman about the allegations that Wiggins supposedly purchased 2 homes using federal funds meant for business use. This house and apparently a house for her mom, is that you?
No.
You're not the mother? The court documents go on to mention just how much money she spent and on what. Here's just a few listed in detail in these court documents. Over $78,000 on a 2020 Land Rover.
Man, look at this shit here. A 2020 Range Rover. A 25,000 at Saks. 12,000 at Hermes. 64,000 at Chanel. You know what y'all should, what you stupid fraudsters should have bought was some fucking gold. You should have bought some damn gold. That would have did you a lot better. You could have got some gold, you know, put that shit up somewhere, bury it somewhere, and then melt that shit down when you need some money after you deal with these charges and shit. Once you come out from prison, you can go to your little stash spot and get your gold and melt it down and shit. Because y'all are seriously about to catch some prison time behind these fucking PPP loans.
At Saks Fifth Avenue, over $12,000 at Hermes, over $64,000 at Chanel, and $204,000 for a business in Houston, nearly $700,000 for a home in Cyprus, and over $200,000
That shit is not right, man.
for a home in
That's
Katy.
so not right.
A time that she will be coming home?
Actually, she hasn't called me today, so I'm not sure when she's coming.
We never got a straight answer.
Not right at all. So many people.
We did see her moments later get in an SUV and leave.
Okay.
Wiggins has been charged with bank fraud, making a false statement to a bank, and money laundering. She faces up to 30 years in federal prison.
Damn. 30 years.
Hey, man.
She's facing 30 years, man. Here, let me show y'all this really quick because this shit tripped me out when I seen it. This lady, I kid you not, she came on here. She came on here, y'all. And she was scared to death, man, because the feds had kicked in her door. And let's see if I can find that video. Avalanche of arrests taking place. Oh my gosh. Hold up. Scammers couldn't stop bragging online. Nah, there is this particular video. This girl, there she is. There she is. Check this out, y'all. She got caught. Feds kicked the door in. She decided to go live. She needs somebody to tell her what to do.
I see a lot of people going ahead and just keeping it real. And I didn't think I was going to have to be one of them people, but now I'm at the point to where I need to go on and keep it real too, because I need to know what my options are. Today, my local HPD teamed up apparently with the Federal Bureau of Investigations, came to my house. I got the $15,000 PPP loan that I applied for. I do her out of my house. My sister does her professionally, so I just use her credentials. I got awarded some money, and that shit is real. And I got 3 kids, and I was hoping somebody could tell me, how do I tell them? What do I tell them? Because I don't know what it's going to be. I'm going to keep y'all posted and updated, but I don't know. Okay, so I wanted to come through real quick because there's so much negativity behind what I posted about what I've done. And the only reason I came and said what I said is when they talked to me yesterday, they laid everything out on the table. There was like, I was sitting there in front of 4 people, and only one of them was a part of our sheriff's department. The other 3, they were all FBI agents. I never seen these people before. They were wearing things that it doesn't matter what they were wearing. We all sat down at the table. They laid out all the paperwork. They laid out all my sister's paperwork from her shop. They know. I solely came on here because this is a situation I've never been put in before. I've never had to be in a situation where I leave my kids for any reason. So at this moment, some of you did leave some good advice, and I have my daughter right here. This is my middle child. She's 12. I have two other ones. One is 5 and the other one is 16. And I think I'm just going to have engaging moments like I'm doing right now. We're getting a little sun, releasing some sweat, which will release some toxins. We'll feel a little good. We're going to go home, take baths. We're going to sit down. We're going to prepare a meal together. And then I'm going to explain to her the decision that I made. I'm also going to show her the things that I used the money for. She's right there. She's right there.
Wow, man. Wow. Girl. Can anybody tell me why this girl is live and she has not hired an attorney? This is the exact thing I'm talking about. Y'all don't want to do this. You do not want to do this. Get a federal criminal attorney. Don't hit the live button and do a video asking for help. Just federal criminal attorney. I dropped the link in the chat. You can even look at nydefensecounsel.com and look at what you will do if you are accused of PPP loan fraud. The first thing you're going to want to do is get a federal criminal lawyer. Again, the 3 most common defenses in a PPP loan case: 1, lack of intent; 2, legitimate purpose; and 3, identity. Hey, Rico, DeBrad, how are you? I don't feel sorry for her either. I was able to maintain and get through my life, and I didn't get a PPP loan, But hey,
she's right along with me. I do hair. She's right there. She's right along with me, so she knows. She helps me prep the hair, purchase the hair. When I go see my distributors, I distribute with designer.
Look, y'all notice now she's starting to she's been thinking about it, right? She's been thinking about it, and now all of a sudden she's trying to come up with all these reasons why she shouldn't get in trouble. I prepare the hair. I really do stuff for my sister's company. She's the one that's got the credentials. Yes, she's the one that, that has the hair business and everything, but I do stuff. I prepare the hair. That's not going to be enough. And this is exactly why, again, you don't want to hit that live button and come on here and say shit like that. Those are the things you want to share with your attorney, and only your attorney, at least until after, wait till you get through your court process before you go talking about your case or any details about your case. It's only after you either get that conviction or acquittal or whatever where you can really feel comfortable really to talk about it. And even then, sometimes you shouldn't, depending on whether or not they could bring those charges back, right?
When I go see them and I buy products, she's right there. So she knows that mommy had changed. She does not know how. And I will explain it to her. And I'm sorry for the huffing and the puffing.
Hey, y'all, I bet you that $15,000 was gone within 2 weeks. I would love to ask her, how long did that $15,000 last? And what exactly did you do with the $15,000? And that's all she got was $15,000. But some of these people out here got multiple loans. But even if you got one, again, I wonder if she thinks it was fucking worth it. Now, I'd love to interview this lady, man.
But Jesus, this was my first video that ever really got any comment or play. And now I'm feeling like, damn, well, I should just come on here and tell every bad thing that happened to me, because that's the only thing that y'all respond to. And then one of the major things that I noticed that I'm expecting so many white people to come on there, because white people, we always say that, white supremacy, white privilege and all that. We always say those type of things. But all of the negative backlash that I'm getting, It's coming from my own can, you heard me? It's beyond me. Keep giving me that feedback. If you have something negative to say, please know you won't get the response that you're looking for.
What the fuck? What did she expect, though? What was this lady expecting the response to be? We're all looking at you, and we can't believe you got $15,000. What did you do with it? You lied. You told a lie to get some money, quick money. And you didn't even get that full 15, did you? You had to cut somebody something who did the paperwork for you. Ugh. Wow, man. Wow.
From me, you won't. I'm gonna continue to say blessings to other people. If I catch you, if I catch you in my comments coming for someone else, that's in a
y'all. Oh, God. I don't know what this stuff is crazy. It's going to be interesting, how things proceed further with these PPP loans and stuff like that. So yeah, I just wanted to kind of be like optimistic a little bit and just kind of come at it at a different angle. What does a person do if they are being accused of PPP loan fraud, whether or not they did it or not? Again, I'll drop this link. Y'all feel free to go check it out. At least it's a starting point for those of you that may need to retain counsel. So good luck to you guys. But don't make it any worse by getting more loans, Facts. That's the thing. Rico, we were sitting here looking at some people, man. There was one couple, they got several PPP loans, and the SBA, people didn't know this until recently, and I don't know how many people still know this, but they were actually logging the IP addresses of the machines or the computers that were submitting all of these loans, these applications. So they actually had the IP addresses of those that submitted PPP loan applications, and they're actually using that information. And they are literally looking at the IP and seeing how many loan applications were submitted by that particular IP address. Like, they are not playing around. So, but yeah, like she got 15,000. And my question is, how long did that 15,000 last you? She didn't use it wisely. It was not invested into anything, no stock purchases or anything like that. But you know what they say, that kind of money always goes fast, right? Until next time, y'all. Hey, team.